Being a punter in the league is a lot different than being a punter in college. Trust me, as a punter who was great in college but didn't even get a sniff in the league, I know. So this brings me to one of the best punters we've seen in college football history and wondering if he'll make it in the big times. And that punter is Matt Araiza. Okay, he broke a lot of records this year, including most 50-yard punts hit in one season, most 60-yard punts hit in one season, and total season average. He also went on to win the Ray Guy Award and was the first punter/kicker ever to win team MVP on a team with 10 plus wins. So the question comes up, will he be a Sunday guy? And to all you special teams casuals out there who watch his sensational highlights about how he hits these massive punts and are probably thinking, duh, he's gonna be ready. But the slightly more seasoned football watchers may be picking up on some of the tiny details to why it's a little bit more nuanced than that. So first, let's go over the obvious pros before I get into the cons and what makes it nuanced. First pro, dude is a baller. No matter what cons I go over, nothing can replace the fact that this man performs at his highest level game to game. And to play in the NFL, this is a very key point, okay? Number two, he's an athlete. He makes tackles. He runs downfield. He's not likely to be one of those punters that gets shook out of his socks by a returner. 3, he has the leg, okay? Even though I'm gonna be going over some things he'll need to improve upon and prove that he can do at the highest level, he has the leg to do it. It all comes down to, is he gonna execute? Is he gonna be able to put it all together? 4, this one's a little bit, more subtle, but he kicks field goals and he kicks off. While mainly I'll be going over the punting chances in the NFL, the fact that he can do all three is a huge bonus for him going into the league. So those are all the things he has going for him. Now let's talk about some areas that he might need to prove that he can do consistently to get on and stay on a team. 1, he's got to step up the directionality just a bit, okay? So he hit 60-yard dong shots down the middle, and that is all well and good when you're in the Mountain West taking on their returners and when your coverage unit gets a free release to run downfield like they can in college. But in the NFL, it's just going to be 2 gunners, typically 4 blockers, Tyreek Hill, and 40 yards of space between them, which is a recipe of testing how accurate I was when I said that I don't think he'll get shook out of his socks. So the first step to make this problem go away is just hit it directionally out of bounds. Then you don't have to worry about anything else. And we can use the Pythagorean theorem here to determine that hitting the ball directly out of bounds at 55 yards is almost equivalent to hitting a 60-yard punt down the middle. So if he can net 55 yards, he'd lead the league in net average by a lot, okay? So number 2, assuming he can't put it directly out of bounds every time because that's a little bit riskier as far as any mishit shanks it, to a 30-yard punt. So now he just has to add a bit more hang. Okay, so proving he can hit some more hang is always going to be good because once again, his guys not having a free release greatly limits how he can punt the ball. And while I'm not saying he needs to turn into a 55-0 guy every time, if he has good direction, he could easily be a 53-4-7 guy and get great results in this league. Because while the returner is probably one of the fastest and most athletic guys on the field, your gunners are no pushovers either. And all they need is a little room to make a play, and they often will. That being said, we just have to stay away from the 60-yard, 4.2-second hang punts that he was hitting so consistently in college because they're not just going to go over the returners' heads like they did in college. First of all, the returners are practicing with NFL punters so they can imitate your style and put the ball that far and that low so the returners can get used to fielding. The third thing, and this one is a little bit more nuanced than the other ones, but he has to shorten up his steps. In college, he used to hop into the snap, then do a full 3 steps before punting. Now, part of that hop was to deal with some, slightly slower snaps or high snaps, but often he'd cover almost 5 yards when punting, which resulted in him getting 2 blocked in the championship game. The NFL is even more cutthroat than what Utah State is going to be. Only one team went after it in college, but in the league, they're going to be gunning for it almost every play. So shortening up the steps is going to be absolutely necessary. Lastly, he just needs to clean up his close range and mid-range punts. For all the leg talent that this guy has, this should be nothing but a little coaching and he'll have this cleaned up. But the big thing is he had 15 touchbacks in one season, and in the NFL that might actually be grounds for getting cut. So I'd love to see him clean that up. Okay, so those are the 4 things I really think he needs to tidy up, and I cannot tell you how important that those things are. Like, they might sound like small nuanced things, but those will literally make or break his chances of getting into the league, because every NFL punter can do those things consistently. But on the bright side, I see that he's working with a punting coach with lots of experience, Nick Novak, and you can see in one video that he's uploaded that they're already shortening his steps and working on getting that hang time up, as you can see Ariza blasting a 56.50 punt. You can still tell it looks a little bit uncomfortable for Ariza, but hey, it's day 1 of training, and I'm sure they're going to figure it out. But if you disagree, let me know in the comments, and I look forward to seeing him on draft day.